Welcome to the Breakup Recovery Podcasts by your host, Barbara Stevens. Discover the wisdom and remarkable insights of Barbara Stevens, breakup recovery mentor, author, and public speaker. Barbara offers programs and solutions for any breakup so you can turn your life around, create lasting changes for the better, and embrace life again.
Hello and welcome to Breakup Recovery Podcast. I'm Barbara Stevens and I'm a breakup recovery mentor. In this episode, I have with me Vanessa Gaboleiro. So tell me a bit about yourself, Vanessa.
Thanks so much for having me, Barbara. I am a divorce transformation mentor. I work with empowered and positive women in their 20s and 30s as they recreate their lives after their divorce. And after my own divorce about 6 years ago, and with my own transformation and learnings, I now help women, thrive in their post-divorce life. And I specialize in confidence building, career advancement, goal planning, and smart dating.
That's a lot that you offer, Vanessa. Tell me about your own divorce.
Yeah, so it was about 6 years ago. I was 23 when I got married, and shortly after, not even 2 years later, I was getting divorced at 25. Absolutely humiliating and lonely, being a 25-year-old with a divorce on my hands as my friends were getting engaged. So a very difficult time. We did not have any children together. But it was a very difficult breakup. It was a difficult relationship as a whole to be in. So leaving it was going to be difficult in the first place. So I was actually living abroad when I had met my ex-husband. I was studying abroad. My parents, my family, my heritage is Portuguese, and I had moved to Lisbon, Portugal for a few years. I studied over there. I got my undergrad in social and organizational psychology, and shortly after, I married my college sweetheart. And that's what happened. So to escape essentially the relationship and marriage, what was happening, I had to, and I moved back home to Philadelphia, where I'm originally from in the US. So it was a challenging time where I had no money. I moved back and asked for a small space to sleep in at my parents' house in the basement on an air mattress, right? That's really all they had to offer me at the time. I took it. I had to find a job. I'd quit the job I had in Lisbon to move back here. Everything happened very quickly, and I was able to find that job, shortly after, with my background in hiring, recruiting, and HR. And I was able to rebuild my life fairly, not quickly, but after about 6 months, I was able to save up enough money to move out into my own little tiny studio apartment and go from there. So these last 6 years have been my ultimate path to self-discovery and becoming who I am today, which I'm very proud of.
So you went over to Portugal to study and then married a Portuguese man, or was he a man from somewhere else?
No, he was also Portuguese, and we went to the same school together, so that's how we met.
Wow. So that's a very big move for you to move from home to go to a foreign country and study, and then to marry somebody, and then to go through a breakup or a divorce in a foreign country without the support of family and friends, I guess.
I had some family, and at that point I had friends as well, but it wasn't the same thing. I wasn't home, essentially. It was a challenge. It was truly a challenge to leave everything and come back home with nothing after 7 years of living abroad.
So what tips would you give to other young women who are going through their breakups or separations and divorces for them to get through their divorce?
I have to say that there were signs that I didn't see at the time, or maybe I didn't want to see. And a lot of times I heard my gut speaking to me, my inner voice, and I didn't listen to it. So I would say, trust your instinct, follow your gut, observe, and then make your decision. But be courageous. It's not easy to walk away, so you need to be ready when you do it, but trust that instinct and go with it, and don't look back when you're ready.
That can be a very difficult thing to acknowledge and to do, isn't it? Listening to your intuition, because when you go through a breakup, you feel in some ways that you're a failure, that, things aren't working out. Is it you? Do you need to do something different? And I guess if you listen to your intuition, you would know that it's not always your fault, and to move forward, to break up and then to move forward is the best thing for you. So what do you say to those people that are still in that mindset of, I don't know if this is working, no, it isn't working, yes, it is, no, it's not? Those people that haven't quite made up their mind yet.
Well, they're not ready. And I specifically work with women that have made the decision and have gone through the divorce and now are ready to move on. It's a different place. But what I would say is evaluate why you're still in the relationship. What is that person giving you that you haven't yet given yourself? That would be my first question. And it's very difficult. And sometimes it's only up to that person to know, right, when it's the right time. They're the ones in the relationship. There's no right or wrong answer. My advice there would be don't wait too long. And essentially, whether it's the right relationship to be in or not. You may just not be ready to make that decision. So trust your gut and then go with it.
So Vanessa, how do you help women get through their breakup?
After they've gone through the divorce, essentially, it's time to restart, essentially. It's time to start over. And so what I do is I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching as well, because community is so important for these women, knowing that they're not alone. That's what I needed most as well at the time, and I didn't know where to find it. So it's mostly one-on-one coaching and group coaching with different programs, different needs. With that comes a lot of healing, a lot of connecting with others and connecting with themselves in the process, and essentially putting a plan in place to move them forward after we've worked together. So that's essentially what I do.
Do you find with your clients that they have lost themselves when they're in a relationship?
A lot of times, yes. And other times it's that they've never found themselves in the first place. So they've dived into the relationship, they've given it their all, they've forgotten about themselves, and they never really knew what they wanted and what fulfilled them in the first place. They thought they knew.
I guess you give them the skills to work out who they are and what they do want from life?
Correct, yes.
So how do you actually do that, Vanessa?
So it takes some work. It takes about 2 to 3 months of a lot of one-on-one coaching before jumping into any other type of coaching, just for the healing. Coaching is all about me asking questions and helping them find the answers themselves. And that's really what I focus on the most. Month 1 is about absolute vulnerability. If we don't talk through certain things, month 1, progress will be slower. Month 2 and month 3, there is what I call weekly homework that I give them, and then our follow-up calls as well. Month 3, it depends on every situation, but between month 2 and month 3, I start to see a little bit of a shift in terms of mindset. They're able to start better understanding themselves and what they really want, and being mindful of how they feel and when they feel it, or certain emotions. So I would say that summarizes our first 3 months working together and what I do with one-on-one coaching.
So how important is the healing process for people to be able to move forward after their breakup?
Oh, it's crucial, or else they'll make the same mistakes again. Not only that, but they won't move forward. They won't truly move forward. Healing may take a very long time for certain people, but it'll be quicker if you have someone guiding you and helping you realize what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. Healing is part of the process.
Why do you think people don't want to heal or don't want to move forward or can't move forward?
Change is scary. And admitting that to yourself, and part of the healing is self-forgiveness, admitting to yourself that you made the decision to be with someone that wasn't right for you makes you a lot of times feel like a failure, like everything was your fault. And I know you had said that earlier, Barbara. Let's see how I can actually describe this. It's harder to move on than to stay in the same place and know what you feel and feel comfortable with what you feel, even though you're unhappy. It's easier that way. It takes a lot of courage to heal.
I agree with you. It takes a lot of courage to heal because it is easier to stay stuck in the negativity, and it's easier to stay stuck in the place that you are, because to move forward, you're right, you do have to do a lot of work. There's a lot of self-reflection. There's a lot of asking yourself questions and getting the answers, and then I guess developing steps to change that so the pattern doesn't happen again or doesn't reoccur again. Would you agree with that?
Yes, completely.
So tell me about working with people and setting goals.
Yeah, it depends on the goal. What I've specialized more on is career goals, meaning career advancement, daily goals as well in terms of just personal advancement. For example, if someone wants to lose weight, what does that mean, right? What do they need to do to get there? So more complex professional goals and then more simple personal goals. It depends. But usually that is part of a greater program that we're working on together. And that's later on after the 3 months of us working together and working on other things. But yes, that's how I would summarize goal planning.
So I guess you said the first couple of months is a lot of healing, and then within that is building people's confidence up again, isn't it, to move forward and to move on and to get back some of their happy feelings.
Yes, and to start trusting themselves again. I think that's the most important part. You know, that little voice inside that keeps telling you, you did that wrong, you're not good enough. It doesn't want to go away. And the less you start hearing it or trying to hear it or listen to it and actually listen to what it's saying and take it in, the less you'll hear it, the less it'll come up. So it's really training ourselves to believe that we're good enough. I think that's the core of it, and that the less we listen to that voice, the less it'll talk to us.
Definitely. Vanessa, where can people get in contact with you or to read any of your blogs and connect with you?
So I write for the Huffington Post. You can definitely read some of my work there. And my website is vanessag.me, so www.vanessag.me. I also have a blog on the website. You can reach me directly that way, or you can send me an email at coach@vanessag.me.
Vanessa, thank you for taking the time to come on to Breakup Recovery podcast and share your tips and your ideas and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me, Barbara. It's been a pleasure to join you today.
If you feel that you are still struggling with your breakup, if you are experiencing intense feelings of anger, resentment and bitterness, and it is taking over your life, I'm here to help you in this area of moving on and coping after your breakup. I work with my clients one-on-one through my mentoring program. If you want to learn more about how we can work together, contact me via email or my Facebook page, Barbara Stevens Breakup Recovery Mentor, and book in for my free 30-minute sounding board session, and we can set up a time that suits. In this free session, you will walk away with clarity about your situation,
strategies and tools to start building the future you deserve. So together we can start your journey of recovery. All my information is on my website, www.barbarastevens.com.au. If you don't want to miss an episode of Breakup Recovery Podcast, subscribe on iTunes, and I would appreciate it if you could take the time to write a review and rate the podcast. Also feel free to message me with any questions that you have about Breakup Recovery podcasts or subjects that you want me to cover in future podcast episodes by clicking on the contact button of my website or my Facebook page. I'm always looking for ways to help you recover from your breakup. And the last thing I'd like to say is, be gentle on yourself. You deserve happiness.
If you would like to hear previous Breakup Recovery podcasts, visit barbarastevens.com.au. Connect with Barbara Stevens on social media with Barbara Stevens Breakup Recovery Mentor on Facebook and at You'll Be Okay on Twitter. Read further blogs, view webinar replays, and download your free ebook, 3 Easy Steps to Surviving Your Breakup, and much more at barbarastevens.com.au.